Are you able to unmute?
Now you can.
Now you can? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Wasn't me. Thank you, Tech.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Turn on some light.
Good evening.
It's
Good evening. Good evening. How's everyone?
Fine.
Good.
Good evening.
How are you, Ms. Fitz?
Okay. John, are you still hanging up at about 75 feet above the ground?
I'm not above 70 anymore now. I'm above 95.
Oh, it just keeps getting better, doesn't it? Well, John, be
Yes, it
careful.
is.
Be careful.
Yes, ma'am.
Hope everyone is staying cool. Well, as
Mhm.
cool as can be.
Yep.
Always.
That and
Always,
hydrated.
Mr. Long?
Joel, take some of
Okay.
those cowboys up there with you 90 feet.
Hello, Howard.
Hi, everybody. Who is that, Lorraine?
Yes.
Nice to see you. How are you?
Oh, fine. Nice to see you.
I have 6:27. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we're 3 minutes and counting. I see Miss Martin has joined us. Good evening, Miss Martin. I don't think she heard me.
Sorry. Good evening, everyone. I'll try that again. Hey there, Mr. Long.
good evening.
Good
Miss Martin.
evening.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
See, the two cowboy fans are lined up on my screen, one right over.
Isn't that wonderful? Don't be smart tonight.
Now play nice. Miss Thomas, see she's joined us.
Good
Good evening, Ms. Thomas.
Good evening, Miss
Evening.
Thomas.
Good evening.
Hi, Miss Thomas.
Oh, there she is. $6.29.
How you doing today, Dr. Poteet?
Hi,
Mr.
Dr.
Shaw, how are you?
Very
Hello.
well.
And how's everyone doing this evening?
Oh, all
Every
right, Dr.
Good evening.
Poteet.
Good, good.
See Miss McClendon has joined us.
yes.
Yes, good evening, everyone.
Good
Good
evening, Miss
Good evening.
McClendon.
Brendan.
McClendon.
Good evening.
Good evening, Miss Moore.
Good evening, Miss Moore.
Good evening.
Good evening, Miss.
Or
Dr.
nice.
Poteet, Mr. Long, how y'all doing? Ms. Boyle,
How
Good.
you doing?
Good evening.
hanging in there.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Miss Moore. Okay.
Yep. I'm a little crazy. I'm jet lagged.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, here, kid.
You're here. That's what's important. And it is approximately 6:30.
It is.
All right, lights, camera, action.
He
Good
do.
evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, board members. Good evening to the community who's joining us, our administrative team, and our solicitor, Mr. Long. Welcome to the Winslow Township Board of Education's regular meeting. Today is Wednesday, July 28th, 2021. Public notice of this meeting was given to all board members and associates in notices dated February 1st, 2021. Adequate and electronic notice of this public meeting has been provided specifying the time, the place, and manner in which this meeting is being conducted. It was advertised in the Courier Post, posted in all schools, the administration office, the municipal building, the library, the Bud Dubel Center, which by the way has been renovated, Edgewood Acres, Elmtown, and the Winslow Township post offices. And this is our mission statement. Good evening, Mr. Blake. The mission of the Winslow Township School District, a large, diverse, and growing community, is to educate all of our students to become independent, lifelong learners, critical thinkers, caring, and confident members of their community. The district, in partnership with the community, and in a climate of cooperation and mutual respect, will provide an academic environment which values excellence and diversity, encourages students to strive for personal excellence, and assists them in acquiring the knowledge, skills, and attitudes necessary to contribute positively to a rapidly changing world. Roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Present.
Ms. Dredden,
Here.
Ms. Martin,
Present.
Ms. McClendon,
Present.
Ms. Moore,
Present.
Mr. Shaw,
Present.
Ms. Thomas,
Present.
Ms. Peterson,
Present.
and Ms. Pitts.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Bull. Moving forward, at this time, I'm going to ask us to take a few minutes and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the flag
Hey,
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
liberty
and
Justice.
justice
and
for all.
justice for all.
Thank you. Moving now to our 2020-2021 district goals. Ms. Moore?
Okay, 2020-2021 district goals. 1, student achievement. Continue to implement best practices for delivering instruction to students utilizing all available and appropriate instructional modes. This shall include A, ensuring articulation at all grade levels throughout the district. B, focus on classroom instruction at all grade levels. C, ensuring all students have equal access to equipment and resources needed to facilitate and promote student learning in any setting. D, evaluation and updating all district programs. E, accountability of all district staff. 2, continue to foster a positive school environment that is conducive to teaching and learning. A, focus on building relationships among staff that will result in increased learning and more effective instruction. B, promote creative instruction, training, and retraining. C, emphasis on collaboration with all district stakeholders. D, promote cultural competence throughout district. E, teacher-to-student relationships. F, student-to-student relationships. 3, market our strengths and achievements to all stakeholders to increase capacity for greater parent, caregiver, community support. A, continue with our public relations / marketing plan. B, continue to work with the various advisory committees in the district. C, examine communication methods utilized by district.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
You're welcome.
Moving now to page 2. Board members, we're at the point of awards and presentations. Dr. Pope.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board and community, we do have a brief presentation this evening. Mr. Dion Davis, our Director of Human Resources, will be reporting on the HIB school self-assessment. Mr. Davis?
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Potteet.
Good evening,
Tonight,
Mr.
I'm
Davis.
here to report that on June 30th, 2021, the NJDOE accepted and approved the 2019 through 2020 school self-assessment for determining grades under the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights. Enclosed in your folders, you should have received as an exhibit the official copy, which shows our school scores ranging anywhere from 75 through 78 points. This was at a total of 78 points. If you recall, back in the fall, I did the initial presentation, then we have to send everything to the DOE. This is their official report coming back stating that they did accept our report. Our overall district grade was a 77 points, which is out of 78. So all of that is outlined on the report that was included in your packet. The information has also been uploaded to the district as well as each school's website, along with the following narrative. Beginning with the September 2011 through 2012 school year, our school district has conscientiously implemented the requirements found in the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights Act by establishing and implementing various programs, approaches, and initiatives to address harassment, intimidation, and bullying. Since the implementation of the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights Act, our school district has made progress in addressing and improving harassment, intimidation, and bullying, and the school climate and culture by creating school and district-based initiatives, utilizing the MyK12 software system for reporting, tracking incidents, and providing ongoing training to staff and students. While completing the self-assessment for the 2019 through 2020 school year, we learned that our school district has demonstrated strengths in the following areas: providing ongoing training for staff and students on HIB-related information, implementing programs and approaches to address HIB prevention and intervention, and conducting and completing investigations within a 10-day time frame. So as I stated, that narrative that I just read, along with the report that you have, has been uploaded to the district website as well as each school's website under school district grade report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Davis. Very comprehensive. Board members, would you have any questions or comments for the report that we just heard from Mr. Davis? No.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Thank you, Mr. Davis.
You're welcome.
Moving now, board members, to correspondence. Would there be any correspondence at this time?
Madam President, there is no correspondence.
Thank you, Ms. Boyle. Moving now to our minutes of our last meeting, which seems as if it was quite some time ago. At this time, board members, I'm asking for approval of the following minutes of the Board of Education's meeting, our regular meeting, which was held June 23rd, 2021, open session. Is there a motion?
Peterson move approval of the regular meeting, June 23rd, 2021, open session.
Second,
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Martin. Would there be further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes,
Motion has carried.
thank you, Ms. Bull. Continuing, I'm asking for a motion to approve the minutes again of our regular board meeting that was held June 23rd, 2021, the closed session. Is there a motion?
Peterson move for approval of the regular board meeting, June 23rd, closed session.
Second, Martin?
It's been moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Martin. Would there be further comments or questions? Thank you. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Bull. Moving now, board members, to our committee reports. This time I'm asking if there's a report out of our athletic committee.
Not at this time, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Moving now, would there be a report out of our education committee?
No report, Madam President.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. Moving now to our equity equality committee, Mr. Blake.
No report.
Thank you, Mr. Blake. Moving now to our marketing committee, Ms. McClendon.
Yes, Madam President. The marketing team met yesterday, July 27th, 2021. Meeting was called to order at 5:02 p.m. via WebEx. Meeting attendees were Mr. Blake, Mr. Davis, and myself, Ms. McClendon. As we begin the meeting, we just did a recap, which last month we didn't have a formal meeting. We did an informal meeting on June 22nd, which was an on-site meeting just to kind of do a visual of the setup for the homecoming event for the 16th, for that Saturday. So we brought Mr. Davis up to speed on the plans and the setup for the celebration. And officially, we welcomed Mr. Davis to the marketing team. And so that was his first time with us. As we move forward through our meeting, our unfinished business, we continue with the planning for the 20th anniversary for the celebration of Edgewood and Winslow. Again, the dates of homecoming is October the 15th and the 16th, but the events that we're planning will be geared more to that Saturday, which is the 16th. And the celebration will begin 9 a.m. through 5 p.m. So right now, currently, we do have a few food trucks and vendors who have confirmed their availability for that day. However, we are still making more calls for those vendors we haven't heard from yet. Mr. Blake and myself will continue to follow up with those vendors who haven't confirmed or we have not been able to reach. Vendor letters will be going out in the beginning of August. Mr. Blake will be the contact for receiving the permit application required by our Winslow Fire Department for our food trucks. And so as we move forward with our planning, we wanted to start breaking down the timelines for the events that we have planned for that day. So at this time, we are locking down events, and hopefully the next meeting, we will share some of the events planned for that day. However, we can say that we do have a DJ lockdown for the events. And we are currently asking for alumni cheerleaders and color guards who are interested in participating in homecoming for 2021 to reach out to myself, Ms. McClendon, through email at McClendon, A, B as in boy, at winslow-schools.com. We're also remembering to invite all of our alumni, both Edgewood and Winslow, students, administration, faculty, staff, and Winslow family and friends to celebrate with us on that day. So we ask that you continue to keep an eye out on our Facebook page. And if you haven't liked us yet, please like us on our Facebook page. Our next meeting, moving forward, probably over the next couple months, because October will be here before we know it, we will be meeting twice a month. So next month, we'll be meeting August the 10th, which should be the second Tuesday of August, and we're going to have our regular schedule meeting on the fourth Tuesday in August. So there's still work to be done. So as we move forward, we're going to meet a little bit more often just to make sure we have everything tidied up. And lastly, our meeting was adjourned at 7:01 p.m. And that concludes my report for the marketing team.
Thank you, Ms. McClendon. Very comprehensive. Board members, would there be any questions or comments for Ms. McClendon's report? Thank you. Moving now to our operations committee. Would there be a report out of our operations committee?
Yes, Madam President. The Operations Committee met on Tuesday, July the 27th, 2021 at 6 p.m. In attendance were myself, Ms. Redden, chairperson, and Mr. Shaw. Also in attendance were Ms. Boyle and Ms. Chico and Mr. Mills.
Mhm.
And the following items were discussed. 1, update on district projects. A, the balance of work to be completed by DeAndre. 1, greenhouse, the certification of substantial completion has been signed. The district will receive another minor credit from the vendors.
Oh,
2, the work on the exterior wall at the administration building has been completed.
mhm.
3, the waistline correction at the high school addition has been completed. B, the balance of work to be completed by DEC Electric. 1, the execution of the monitoring agreement is on the agenda for approval. 2, closeout documents still have to be submitted. 2, the American Rescue Plan, Rescue Funds. The application is currently available. The deadline is to be submitted November 24th, 2021. The application is currently being worked on. 3, the pandemic electronic benefit transfer, which is the PEBT, summer benefits. The Department of Human Services, DHS, is again offering the PEBT summer benefits for families that qualify for free and reduced meals. 4, miscellaneous items. A, April food service reimbursement was filed 1 day late. The district explanation was accepted.
Okay.
Semi reimbursements, 2018, 2019 applications over claim costs by including 1 to 1/8. This may require a refund.
Hmm.
C, June the 30th, 2021, draft financials are being prepared to meet the August 1st, 2021 deadline.
Mhm.
5, 2020 projects. The demolition of the ceilings in the music room at the high school has begun. The vendors has an August the 31st completion date. B, demo is being on the middle, begin on the middle school and high school. Refrigerators, freezers, the second week in August. The
Oh.
district will need to get a temporary refrigerator and freezer prior to September. Then the meeting was adjourned at 6:33 p.m. The next meeting will be scheduled 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday, August the 24th.
Thank you, Ms. Dredden. Thank you. Board members, would there be any questions or comments with regards to the report out of our Operations Committee?
Madam President, I just have a question for Ms. Dredden. Ms. Dredden, you mentioned the PEBT card that has been approved now, or are we still in limbo waiting?
They have to do the paperwork to get it all in.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, thank you. Thank you again, Ms. Dredden. Moving now to our Policy Committee. We do have a brief report out of our Policy Committee. If you notice, there are quite a few policies that came into your packets this week. The Policy Committee held a virtual meeting on July 22nd, 2021 at 4 p.m. to discuss and recommend at least 11 of the 8 regulations and 1 policy for abolishment. For first reading at the July 28th, 2021 Board of Education meeting. Committee members present were myself as chair, Board Member Dredden, Board Member Rita Martin, Board Member Cynthia Moore, Dr. Poteet, Superintendent, and Dr. Carcamo, Assistant Superintendent. As you can see, the policies that we went over number quite a few, and you do have them in your packet, so I don't believe that it would be necessary to read all of them through because you have them there in front of you, and they're also posted. Most of the policies discussed are mandated policies that required minor changes that included new wording, alignment with the New Jersey statutes, clarification of terms, and date extensions. Policy 1649, the Federal Families First Coronavirus Response Act, was recommended to be abolished. The policy was only in effect until December 31st, 2020. The purpose of the policy was to guarantee family leave with pay for COVID-19 related issues. Policy 1649 does not require a second reading. Other topics discussed, Ms. Moore followed up with a request presented by Ms. McClendon that the policy committee revise the policy related to COVID-19 to reduce the required length of time for quarantine for students with mild exposure, and the concern that the current required days would affect students' compliance with the attendance policy. Dr. Poteet did address the committee, explaining that the reason for the required quarantine time and that students who are required to quarantine are considered excused. Dr. Poteet further stated that we would continue to follow the science, and he would not be making a recommendation to change the current quarantine time. His goal was to keep everyone safe. This meeting ended at approximately 4:40. Our next meeting would be scheduled for the fourth Thursday in August, and that will be confirmed as we get closer to that date. Board members, would there be any questions with regards to the report out of the policy committee?
Madam President, I have a question, not really a
Yes.
question, but just maybe a request. For the policies, because we received the whole packet for the policies, can I request that maybe on that cover sheet that comes with our listing with the policies on there, if it could just state what we should be looking at, where the changes, because for me, when I looked at it, I didn't know what was being changed, what was being added, and I know sometimes it may just be a minor thing, but if we could have that mentioned so that we can just look at that section, that area where the change is, so that for me, I have a better understanding of what I'm doing the first reading for, what areas I should be looking at.
Okay, Ms. McClendon, that's very reasonable because as a matter of fact, that is exactly how we, who are on the policy committee, that's how we receive the committees. And so that's absolutely is very reasonable. And going forward, we will make sure that we make that available in that manner for all board members.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any further comments or questions? Thank you. Now moving on to our Citizen Advisory Committee. Ms. Martin, would there be a report out of our Citizens Advisory Committee at this time?
No report at this time. However, the Citizens Advisory Committee will be meeting on Thursday, August 5th, virtually at 7 p.m.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Moving now, board members, to the superintendent's report. Before I ask for a motion, I would bring your attention to letter A, number 1, small letter A, down at the very bottom where it says policy number 8561. I'm going to ask that that be tabled because that policy had some very brief changes. It has to do with nutrition, and you will see that policy again on our addendum. All right. So therefore, at this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve the superintendent's report with the exception of policy 8561 as listed. Superintendent's report beginning at the bottom of page 2 and continuing through to the top of page 6. Is there a motion?
Peterson moved for approval of the superintendent's report, letter A and B, excluding the tabling of 1, P 8561, found on page 2 through 6.
Second, Martin.
Thank you. It's moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Martin. Would there be further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Moving now, board members, I'm asking for a motion to approve the Business Administrator Board Secretary's report as it appears on page 6, from the middle of page 6, and as you can see, it continues through, and it keeps continuing through to the bottom of page 16. Is there a motion?
Peterson moved for approval of the Business Administrator Board Secretary's report, item A and B, page 6 through 16.
Second, Martin.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Martin. Would there be further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Bull. Board members, I'm asking at this time for a motion to approve the personnel report as it appears on the beginning of page 17 and continues through to the bottom of page 23. Is there a motion?
Peterson moved for approval of the personnel report, items A 1 through 14.
Second, Martin.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Martin. Would there be further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Bull. Board members, at this time, I bring your attention to our addendum, which of course is in pink for those of us who have the hard copy. At this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve the superintendent's report as it appears on our addendum. It begins on page 1 and goes through to the middle of page 1. Is there a motion?
Peterson moved for approval of superintendent's report on addendum, item A 1 and 2.
Second, Martin. Sorry.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Martin. Would there be further comments or questions?
Question, Madam President.
Yes, Ms. McClendon.
Page 1 under A, number 1, is this I know we tabled it on the beginning. Is this with the conditions met? Is this the same policy?
Is this the same policy? Yes, it
Right,
is. Policy number
tabled.
8561.
Right, so is this the corrections or?
This is the correction.
Okay.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, this is it. Any other further questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Bull. Moving now, again, we are still on our addendum. Board members, I'm asking for a motion to approve the personnel report as it appears on our addendum, the bottom of page 1, and it goes through to the bottom of page 3. Is there a motion?
Peterson moved for approval of personnel report, Item A, 1 through 5.
Martin, second.
Approved, moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Martin. Would there be further questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
yes,
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
yes,
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you. Board members, before I move from the addendum, Dr. Poteet, I'm going to ask, I see under new business, we're still on the addendum. Page 3, if you would care to give board members some information with regards to that CUSAC performance as it appears in our packet.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, we are required by state law to provide you with the updated scores. But if you will recall, from our last review, these are the same scores we received a year or so ago. Since we have not had a full review, they have not come into the school district. We provided them with information that would be considered a desk audit. So therefore, until we have a state assessment again, meaning testing our students, which we have not had a state assessment in the past 2 years. So instruction and program is the only area where we did not score at least an 80 or above. So therefore, we must continue to provide the district with the state with an action plan as to how we are going to address instruction and program. And at this point, maybe this year, of course, September, we're supposed to have a state assessment. It is much earlier than we normally would. Then we'll begin to address that particular item. All the other areas were 80 or above. And if you look at those scores, fiscal management was 95%. It has remained the same. Governance, 81%. And ladies and gentlemen of the board, if you recall, about a year and a half ago, there were 2 areas where we were cited. One, the superintendent had to make recommendations for personnel. And since the word superintendent wasn't there, they deducted points. And also the other issue was that the superintendent's evaluation must state that academic achievement for all subgroups must be a priority. If you also recall that I wrote a rebuttal to the state because we did not agree with their assessment at the time, that rebuttal was denied. So therefore, 81% will remain there until possibly our next full review, because those issues have already been corrected. As a matter of fact, they were corrected within that same year. Operations remained at 95%. Personnel remained at 95%. So at this point, as far as instruction and program is concerned, we're edging away at the 80%. And hopefully at the conclusion of this year, we'll be able to meet that 80% or surpass it. But these are primarily the same scores we've had for the past year and a half.
Thank you, Dr. Poteet. Board members, any questions, comments for as it relates to our CUSAC report?
Yes, I have a question, Madam President, for Dr.
Yes, Mr.
Poteet.
Clinton.
Dr. Poteet, you mentioned that the testing will be in September.
Yes.
My question is, what would that look like? I mean, just being as though the last year, since we didn't have testing with the pandemic, just with the whole, I guess, the learning process for our students, some it worked well for, some it did not. If testing is going to happen in September, what will that look like as far as instruction? Is that going to go back to the year before, or how will that be handled?
Well, at this point, you know that the state applied to the federal government for a waiver, and it was approved. And the state have their own assessment that we will be using next year, this coming school year. The process is pretty much the same as it always has been. And of course, we'll only be measuring what we were able to accomplish this last school year. It's similar to what the students have seen in the past, but we won't be able to know where our children's weaknesses are, what type of learning loss has occurred until we get these results. So at this point, it's going to be very similar to what they are used to. And I think the state primarily will be using this as a barometer to determine where we are after a year and a half of not having any type of state assessment. So at this point, it will not be totally unfamiliar to our students. But as far as where we stand, I think this will be the barometer we'll use to determine what areas of weakness, where we need to apply more emphasis, and to see where we can, take our children so they can continue to show some growth. So it will be similar to what they are accustomed to.
So is it safe to say that the focus the testing would be geared on what they should have learned over this school year, or is it going to kind of go back to prior to the pandemic, or is it going to be focused on what instruction and stuff was taught throughout the pandemic? And I mean, that's the part that concerns me.
Well, at this point, let me just say this so that you'll know. We've never seen this assessment before. Okay, so we really don't know. We've never seen it before. So it's going to be new to all of us. So we don't know what it looks like, what exactly emphasis in terms of what's going to be measured. So I can't tell you specifically. However, the only thing we do have to rely on is what the students were able to learn over the past year and a half. And most of that was done remote for all of our students, including those who did come back through our hybrid model. But it's pretty much going to measure where they are based on what they've learned over the past year and a half. But specifically, I can't respond because I've never seen the assessment. The students, staff have never seen the assessment. So we're not sure what it's going to look like, Mrs. McClendon.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Thank you, Dr. Poteet. Board members, moving back now to our agenda. We're on page 24. We're at our Open Public Records Act. Ms. Boyle, would there be any? Open Public Records Act?
Yes, Madam President, I'm turning back to the page. None at this time, Madam President.
Thank you, Ms. Boyle. Moving now, board members, to old business. Would there be any old business that we would care to discuss at this time? Board members, I just have one or two items. I just want to remind us that our annual retreat, as we all know, will take place exactly a week from today, Wednesday, August 4th. And the hours would be from 5 p.m. to 8. And in keeping with the request of our representative, Ms. Teresa Lewis, she's requesting that this particular retreat be done in person. And Dr. Poteet, I believe that we certainly can accommodate that, especially in our new multi-purpose room.
Well, it will be in our new conference room at the administration building, yes.
Okay. And masks certainly will be required.
Yes.
Board members, are we clear with that?
Yes.
And so board members, if you, because if you have any particular items that you might certainly want to be discussed at the retreat, because I have a small list, please feel free to present that at our retreat, because that is what our retreat is all about, For those of you, this would be your first retreat. Miss Lewis, when she comes in, she has a prepared presentation that we all go through, and it includes maybe a few exercises. And then, of course, we move further because there are certain things we are expected to accomplish, would be our district goals going forward, set up our calendar for the year 2021-22. Those are the kinds of things that we will be accomplishing at our retreat. Okay? All right.
Okay. I had an item.
Ms.
Were
Moore?
you done? Okay. I wanted to ask, if we've done any better getting the technology, returned, and if we are going to look at, opening up an evening or some other way for parents to return the Chromebooks and the other things we had, the hotspots.
Mrs. Moore, I have that on my information items. We did come up with the date. So Madam President, I'll go out of order to respond to Mrs. Moore's question, if I may.
Oh, yes.
Okay, let me go back. We have set up a date for Chromebook collection and or drop off. For those students who have not turned in their Chromebooks, the district will have 2 locations available for Chromebook drop off on Wednesday, August the 4th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. We will have someone available at Winslow Township High School and at school number 3. Now, that is the same day that we have food pickup at Winslow Township School number 3 in the evening. So we're hoping that it will be more accommodating for those who may be coming out to pick up food, but at the same time, they'll be able to drop off their Chromebooks. For those who live on the other side of the township, if the high school is more accommodating, please use the high school as a drop-off. Again, that is Wednesday, August the 4th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. We are asking everyone who is in that situation, the school principals will be making robocalls to those families only. So each school will be contacting their own parents so that those parents will know what they need to do in order to make this happen. So we're hoping that this evening time will be more accommodating for the parents, okay? Any other questions in reference to that? Now, I've asked the building principals to convey to parents, you'll hear from me first, that is, if the students, or excuse me, the parents do not return those Chromebooks, if we had to go out again for remote instruction, those families will not receive another Chromebook until we get the one that they presently have back. That also pertains to those individuals whose Chromebooks were damaged beyond repair. They had to pay for those. Until that is taken care of, then the school district will not provide those individuals with an additional Chromebook until this situation has been taken care of. All right?
Thank you.
All right.
Madam President,
Yes, Ms. Peterson?
I want to go back to our board retreat. Will there
Yes.
be an opportunity to look at our district goals, strategy, objectives, and how we are assessing them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We will
So
come away with all-
will Terry be prepared to discuss that?
She will.
Okay, thank you so much.
Madam President,
Yes, Ms.
I just wanted to go back to, I think it was the last board meeting where I had suggested or recommended to see if we could do another day for the COVID vaccination shots. And I just want to take time out to thank Dr. Poteet for getting that done, because we do have it now on the schedule. So I just wanted to retract back, because I know that was something that was proposed and now it has been set up. So thank you, Dr. Poteet, for getting in contact with the health department and making it happen. So hopefully we'll get a lot of people registered, even walk-ins, to come in so that we can make sure a lot of our kids are vaccinated for the school year.
Okay.
And Mrs. McClendon, that was another item. on my information.
I was just saying thank
I'll be
you.
down
I
to-
just wanted to
I'll be
bring
down
back
to one
that.
information item pretty soon. But that's all right.
That's fine, that's fine.
Okay,
It just
right.
shows that we are all on the same track
Yes, we're
here.
on the
That's
same
what it
page.
takes.
I do,
Absolutely.
when we do get there, there's some additional information I would like to give in reference to that vaccination clinic.
Okay, okay. All right, can we move on? Just one other item. No, I think that concludes anything old business unless anyone has anything else. No, we can move on now to new business. New business. What I would just like to say is this, the board members, as we know, the township annually has a Winslow Township Fun Day. It was it did not take place last year, needless to say, because of COVID, but it is going to take place this year. And as we know that certainly the school board does have a table there at the Winslow Fun Day along with other vendors. I just wanted to make that comment, that statement with regards to us registering that date, which is Saturday, August 28th in the New Brooklyn Park from 2 p.m. until 8. And at our next board meeting, board members, I would like you to be thinking about what kind of schedules and and those who will or will not be able to be present there that day. All right. So that's what I have to say with regards to new business. Does anyone else have any comments? If not,
Yes,
we're going.
Madam President, I have one thing for new business.
Yes.
I would like for the board and Dr. Poteet to consider opening up, I guess, one of our facilities to host the uniform swap. I know there's been talk about it. I know in the past, before it was used, or one of our facilities was used, and I'm not sure if it's the HSA that actually kind of put it together. It was just individual community members that did it, but I would like for us to consider opening up a facility in a day to be able to have the uniform swap so that it can help out with parents that may be in need for uniforms. I know there's been some talk about it, so I just wanted to see if that's something that we could at least be open to in providing a date and a location for it.
Well, I think, as in the past, I think that is really not a question because the district has always been open to it. But I would defer to Dr. Poteet with regards to this particular year.
Yes, Madam President, we have always accommodated
Yes.
those parents whenever they made the request. We have not received a request at this point. So when they let us know what their availability is and what time, date, et cetera, like they've always done in the past, we'll be more than happy to accommodate them. So it's just a matter of them reaching out to us and letting us know. Now, in the past, they've had it at the middle school. Because it was the location, it was easy access for the parents. So at this point, it's just a matter of us receiving that information, what dates are available to them, and we'll move forward.
Okay. I hope everyone is listening. Whoever's in charge of the uniform swap, get on, contact Dr. Poteet as soon as possible.
Okay.
All right. Thank you,
There
Dr.
you have
Poteet.
Yeah,
All right.
sure.
All right, if there's no more new business, we can move on to our informational items. Dr. Poteet?
Yes, Madam President, members of the board and community, I do have a couple information items left on my list. Of course, as I mentioned to you at the last meeting, the COVID-19 updates are now available as a result of the surge in coronavirus cases. The Delta variant, which is much more contagious, is beginning to rage across the entire country. New Jersey is no exception because every state have seen a surge in cases. Here in Camden County, as of today, we had 31 new confirmed cases. That brings our total in Camden County to 50,199 cases. In Winslow Township today, we had 3 new cases. But as you know, the Center for Disease Control has changed their recommendation and guidelines. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to read for you directly from the information we received, and as it was written in the Washington Post, that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention on Tuesday reverses guidelines for schools, now recommending everyone over the age of 2, and not just the vaccinated, wear masks inside school buildings, a shift that comes in response to the rising concerns about the Delta variant of the coronavirus. The new recommendations align with those made by the American Academy of Pediatrics, which last week recommended that everyone over the age of 2 wear masks in schools. The state of New Jersey, from our governor's office, stated today that they're not in a position to mandate mask wearing at this time. However, they will continue to monitor this spread, and at some point they may or may not be making a recommendation by the state. However, the governor continued to say that he will leave that recommendation up to each local municipality. Here in Camden County, we are beginning to see a surge. And at this point, ladies and gentlemen, it is something that we should be concerned about. We, of course, will have this conversation at our retreat, but at this point, it is a concern because I want to give you and the community a perfect example of where we are. We had a student athlete test positive COVID-19 just last week. And as a result of that positive test, 25 students were considered close contacts and 4 coaches. All of these individuals are presently being quarantined for 14 days if they were not vaccinated. The reason I bring this to your attention is because as we get closer to the opening of school and our fall programs are going to begin, particularly athletics where you have close contact, we must continue to do the things that are necessary to keep our students safe, because if you're not vaccinated, you should be wearing a mask, social distancing, continuously washing your hands, all those things we already know that we should be doing. But they're emphasizing the fact that athletics, because of the close contact, particularly those contact sports, the chance of spread is far greater. So I just want all of us to understand that if this kind of thing continues, we are looking at a greater situation because of the more contagious virus of students being out of their seasons for large periods of time if they're infected, or possibly losing an entire season as a result of it. And this is our reality, ladies and gentlemen. So I say that so that we know that the virus has not gone anywhere. It is still with us. It's more contagious. And at this point, you know, that's a lot of students to consider even just a summer program for conditioning purposes. So I'm moving into the next issue that Mrs. McClendon raised, and that is for those of you who are interested, and that is the position we've taken all along. For those of you who are interested, the Camden County Department of Health will be here on Monday, August the 2nd. They will be providing a clinic at the Winslow High School gymnasium from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Those COVID vaccinations are available to everyone 12 years old and older. If you have pre-registered, that's a good thing because it speeds up the process. You don't have to wait in line. However, walk-ins will be accepted. Walk-ins will be accepted. If you are interested, I'm asking everyone to please go to our website, Facebook page to pre-register. The registration information will remain on the district website until 12 noon, Friday, July 30th. Right now, and it's been up for a week and a half, right now, we only have 39 students who have registered for the vaccination at this time. As of today, 39. So we have 2 more days for registration. Again, it is still open for walk-ins. But we are hoping that for those of you who are interested, that you would take advantage of this opportunity. All right, and that concludes my information items for this evening.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Potteet.
Madam President, I have a question for Dr. Potteet.
Yes.
Dr. Potteet, you mentioned
Yes.
with the athlete, with the 25 students that were quarantined, but if they were vaccinated, they didn't have to quarantine for 14
No.
days.
No, they
So
would
my
not have to quarantine.
My question to you is, will we as a district identify who's vaccinated and who has not been vaccinated? Like,
Legally, we cannot, just like a staff person, we cannot ask you whether or not you're vaccinated. However, if you are, let's say you were one of these 25 students, and we say you have to quarantine, and that student may say, or the mother or father may say, no, my son is vaccinated. He don't have to quarantine, because that's the time when you should provide that information to the school so that you don't have to go through that quarantine process. So it's in the advantage of the student as well as the parents to let us know, because once those letters go out, and they have gone out, the very next day, it's the parent's responsibility or the student's responsibility to say to the building principal and or school nurse, I've been vaccinated. And then, of course, you have to show proof, and you have your card, the parent or yourself, bring your card and say, I'm vaccinated. Then that child will be able to continue to come to school. And of course, we'll monitor them just to make sure. But, the guidelines are the same as they were toward the end of last year. For those individuals who are vaccinated, do not have to quarantine. So that's an advantage to those individuals who've taken that opportunity. All right.
okay, that's what I was wondering. So if you say that you're vaccinated, then you would have to show
Yeah, you would have to
that
show
has
proof.
been done.
Yes, because
Okay,
we just can't,
great.
you just can't take word for it. Plus, you don't know who's vaccinated, who isn't vaccinated.
Right.
So we are, going to ask those parents, and we're not going to argue with people about that sort of thing. If you say that you're vaccinated, fine, all you do is show proof. And then as far as we're concerned, it's not an issue. All right?
All right. All right. No further questions for Dr. Potteet? All right, we can move now to our public comment portion. The Winslow Township Board of Education highly values the input of our citizens in making important decisions that affect the children of our community. We also believe in the rights of citizens to observe our board meetings, to ensure that all citizens have the opportunity to call into our school board meetings and offer comment, and to ensure that the board can conduct the important business of the district. We ask that speakers who call in follow these guidelines for making public comments. The board president or board secretary will recognize those individuals who call in who wish to make comment. Please respect these following procedures. Number one, all members of the public who call in must treat each other and the board with respect. Number two, when you do call in, please kindly state your full name and address. Number three, please limit your comments to 4 minutes. Number four, if there are questions that go beyond our 4 minutes, we ask that you submit your questions to the Board of Education with your name, address, and telephone number where you can be contacted. Your questions will be answered within a reasonable amount of time. And number five, individuals offering citizen comment are not permitted to make personal attacks on any district employee, board member, other testifiers, or member of the public. So, at this time, board members, I'm asking for a motion to approve our moving into the public comment portion.
Peterson moved for approval to open up public comments.
Martin, second.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, a second by Ms. Martin. Can we, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Thank you, Ms. Boyle. We are now open for public comment portion.
Okay, currently there is nobody in the waiting room.
Waiting room? Well, as we've done in the past, we will give at least 4 minutes for someone to call us in. If not, then we will proceed with our regular meeting. Ms. Moore, you mentioned that you had jet lag.
Yes, I was in San Diego.
Oh,
My first time in California, I really enjoyed it.
oh, nice.
I
Very
did
good.
want to ask about something. A parent was concerned that she couldn't get into the parent portal to get a copy of her child's report card. What is the procedure for getting it alternatively?
Well, there are a couple things, Mrs. Moore. The first thing the parent should have done was just call the building principal.
Okay.
The building principal more than likely could have assist that parent in getting into. If not, then they would have made a copy, either send it to them or they could have come by the school and pick one up.
Okay, that was actually the advice that someone gave her. But I just wanted to ask in case, this.
Yes,
Okay,
not a problem.
thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Still
one
no
other thing,
forward.
just so I'm clear. So during the summer, is the parent portal completely down for everybody? Is that like normal or?
It shouldn't be. I'm not sure at this point. It has never been a practice of ours to shut it down. But I'll look into it, Mrs. Moore, if that's,
Okay.
a question. I'll just check tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Potee?
Yes.
Since that just came up, I just went on Genesis and it does say that it is currently unavailable as we prepare for the 2020-21 school year. So
Okay.
it's been like that
Yes.
for a little moment.
Dr.
Yeah.
Poteet,
Yes, Dr.
excuse me,
Carter.
Dr. Poteet, each year in July, we do a rollover. So the system is shut down until everything is rolled over for the next year. So parents may not be able to get into the system.
So, Dr. Carcamo, is that a bit of information that we could put on our website so parents will know what's happening and that they'll become familiar with that for the months of July? Is that possible? We could do that?
Yes, when the parent goes in, as Mrs. McClendon said, there's a message that pops up that the system is in a rollover status.
Oh.
So if the parent had gone in during this time, she would have seen the same message.
Oh,
The other
okay.
reason
So-
could be if the parent has never been into the parent portal and has never established a password, that would explain why she would not be able to get in. And again,
Oh.
the parent would have to go back to the building principal because that's where the account would be set up.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Carcamo.
You're welcome.
Ms. Boyle?
Still no participants, Madam President?
Okay. All right. So therefore, at this point in time, board members, I'm asking for a motion to adjourn the public comment portion of our meeting.
Peterson move for adjournment of public comments.
Martin, second.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Martin, to adjourn our public comment portion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Aye.
There was a nay? No? No, okay, all right. So therefore, board members, at this time, we're moving into our executive session. Mr. Long, would you have some information to share with us?
Okay? Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. So in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act, we will be entering into an executive session on July 28th, 2021 at approximately 7:35 p.m. Of the 9 exceptions from which the public may be excluded, appropriately, we will be utilizing item number 7, which is pending litigation in the matter of MD versus Winslow et al. I would anticipate, depending upon the amount of questions, that we would be 15 to 20 minutes in duration in that executive session. As far as I know, and I'll look to Dr. Carcamo or Dr. Poteet and Mr. Davis, are you aware of any other issues for executive session that I may not be?
Not at this time, Mr. Long.
Thank you. That would be it then, Mrs. Pitts.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Long. Board members, at this time,
Stated that we will be taking any action coming out of executive session.
all right.
Formal action.
Thank you, Mr. Long.
You're welcome.
Board members, at this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve our moving into executive session. Is there a motion?
Peterson moved for moving into executive session.
Martin, second.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Martin. Roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
and Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Bull. Board members, at this time, we are going to adjourn to go into our executive session. And I believe we all have that. Have a good journey.